oh man, I am so hyped for today. Today's gonna be the biggest Pokemon card tournament I've ever been a part of. The homies over at Manta Trading are hosting a 48 player cap Pokemon card tournament at the Monte Carlo Inn. We're gonna be going there for today's Pokemon tournament vlog. I haven't done a Pokemon tournament vlog in a minute, so if you guys wanna see some previous ones, then check out the playlist, link down below. But we're gonna have an absolute blast today. We're gonna be going in as an absolute underdog using a Zacian V deck. It's gonna be a really fun day of Pokemon, and this will be the event that will have to satisfy my competitive craving, because we are going to be going to Liverpool for Pokemon reasons, but because you guys know how quickly tickets sold out for Liverpool, that we're going to be traveling to a completely different continent to not attend a Pokemon event because the tickets sold out. So it's painful. It's painful. So this is the next best thing, and we of course have Vancouver regionals happening later this season, and I'm going to be going to there. Hopefully, if tickets don't sell out, because I already booked my flight, a non-refundable flight. So hopefully things go through. Bye-bye, Misty. Wish me good luck. I will see you after winning the tournament. Hopefully. Alrighty, so we are almost at the tournament, or the hotel, and yeah, I've been to this hotel before actually, once to sell sneakers for a sneaker meetup, and then the other time was like a little staycation with my girlfriend. So yeah, I've been here before. I'm not gonna be lost, luckily, because you can get lost pretty easily going to some places for the first time. One really nice thing about this tournament venue is that there is a huge plaza like right across the street from where the hotel is, and there are so many food options here. Like there's ramen spots, there's Boston pizza, there's a lot of restaurants, bubble tea options. There's even a massive Chinese supermarket too. Call your boy crazy. It is freezing cold outside, but I am part of the iced coffee gang. Wake myself up a little bit. I'm running on about 2 hours of sleep. I've been so excited for this tournament. I've been like prepping all week. So we're inside now, and now it's time to complete our deck list right here. Gotta fill this out with all of our cards, so we can't change our decks mid-tournament, of course, and do something cheesy. My friends are down there. I just delivered them the hoopas that they needed, and they're gonna be giving me a fish card I need, like a Tapu Lele GX, pretty much. I'm gonna complete my deck list right now. Tournament is going to start in a couple of minutes, and I am excited for this tournament. I think one of the most excited things I am for this is the 2 out of 3 format, because it's always best of 1 at locals and stuff like that. So this time it's like truly the better player will win, at least most of the time. So you guys know what deck I'm running already. Jose, what deck are you running today, my guy?
Today I'm going to be running everyone's favorite, new VMAX.
I see how it is, I see how it is. What's your goal for today? What's your target for today?
So today, this is actually going to be my first event for myself too. So personally, I just want to make top cut. I want to play my best, have a good few rounds. But if I make top cut, I'll consider today a win.
So I'm here with Ben, and Ben, what deck are you playing today, my guy? What deck are you playing?
I'm playing with the horse gaming.
The horse? What? Ah, yeah. Okay. How you feel about today's tournament? Do you have any goals for today?
Hopefully win the whole tournament, yeah. And, maybe face a lot of Mew, but nothing that I'm not prepared for.
Confident. Oh my gosh, all right. Round 1 is done. I had the sweatiest Mew matchup of my entire life. First game was a brick. I had Lumineon to start, so that was like a straight loss. Second game, I won, and then third game was a tie. I would have won if I had the Metal Saucer top deck, but it didn't happen. We went the full 50. Amazing game, so much fun. GG's to Justin, we tied 1-1. Yeah, I couldn't have played that better. That was so much fun. All right, I'm hyped for round 2. I'm shaking, man. I was legit shaking. Like every single play was so crucial. That was probably one of the funnest games of Pokemon I've ever played in my life. So for round number 2, we have an Inteleon, a Rapid Strike VMAX deck fighting against my Zacian V deck. This was probably one of the toughest matchups of the day. I've always struggled against this deck, typically online for the most part, because Cheryl is absolutely disgusting in this Inteleon Rapid Strike VMAX deck. So for our very first round, we did have a really tough start because we started off with a Crobat Luminion again. This is probably the worst possible start you could have. I not only did have the Crobat, I had the Luminion on my opening turn, so I just pretty much was an uphill battle. It was an uphill battle from that point on, and I had to take that round 1 loss against the Inteleon Rapid Strike deck. On to round number 2. Round number 2 was a much closer battle between myself and the Inteleon Rapid Strike deck. I got several Zacian set up. We had Zamazentas coming up, but he had Path to the Peak, which did slow me down quite a bit, and then he had Cheryl a couple of times. I think he Cheryled 3 times in that one matchup, so it was just so frustrating to play against him, being able to heal up his Inteleon after myself doing big damage like 230 turn after turn after turn. It just wasn't enough, and so I ended up losing against Inteleon Rapid Strike 2-0. So now our record is 1 loss and 1 tie. On to round number 3. Now round number 3, I wasn't able to get a recording of the matchup because it did go into like super overtime, and the player I did not want to bother asking to get some footage from because he was a bit salty about the tie. So yeah, that kind of spoils it. We did end up having a tie against Arceus VSTAR with the Inteleon build in it, and it started off with a loss where it was a really tough matchup, a really slow matchup. It was like a 25-minute game, I think. And then round 2, I ended up winning in a very quick fashion. I got my turn 1, turn 2 Zacian set up real fast and ended up taking the W in just a matter of 2 or 3 turns. And then on to our third round for this matchup, an insanely close game going into the overtime where we just ended up finally with a draw. So now my current record is 0 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. On to round number 4. Round number 4, we are fighting against an Ice Rider Arceus V-Star build. And whenever I see Ice Rider, I do get very excited because I do hit for weakness against it. The scary thing with this matchup is getting Path to the Peak because, you know, Arceus can search up Path to the Peak and make my life a living nightmare. For our very first game of round 4 against this Ice Rider deck, we ended up mulliganing 4 times. 4 times. That is brutal. That was the most I've ever mulliganed with this current deck, but somehow things miraculously played in my favor because I was able to pull off a turn 1 KO. I was able to set up Zacian with 3 energies and swing into, I believe, their Luminion for that 1 turn kill, and that was the quickest game of Pokemon I ever played in my life in a competitive like tournament setting. So that felt amazing. As for the second game against this Ice Rider matchup, it was a pretty close one for the second one compared to the first, just because he was able to get some Ice Riders set up, but he wasn't able to get those boss's orders and energies he needed on time, so I ended up winning with a convincing win, 2-0. So now I am 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 ties. On to round number 5. This is where I felt like I was being blessed by the heavens. We have round number 5 against another Ice Rider deck. However, this time it was an Ice Rider Suicune build, not an Ice Rider Arceus V-Star build. And this was just a straight up W. This is one of those matchups where it's an auto win because the weakness is perfect for you, and you can also slam for 1-hit KOs against the Suicunes as well. So I just straight dominated the other player. My deck ran like a machine. I got the Zacian set up exactly like I wanted to. I was swinging every turn. During the second game, I also had a fun time using 3 Mew abilities, digging for Metal Saucers just so I could go for a really big play, and then we hit the Metal Saucers that we needed, and then we bossed for game. So round 5, straight domination, 2 wins in a row. That felt great. And now on to our final round of the tournament for Swiss. We have an Eternatus VMAX build. Now, fun fact, Eternatus VMAX, or Eternatus, was my very first like sort of competitive deck I was building when I joined the hobby, so it was kind of nostalgic fighting against it, and it was pretty funny too because Zacian, you know, is Zacian and Zamazenta, that's the team good, and then we have Eternatus, the team evil, so we had a good versus evil matchup, just very fitting for the lore of Pokemon. In terms of the round 6 games, we have the very first game game, which was a pretty quick, straightforward win. It was super fast. I think it was just a couple of turns, and our opponent knew that, hey, this is going to be an L, so they scooped. And then going on to game 2, it was a long and a hard loss. Like, it was a really close game, going back and forth, and then eventually the Eternatus deck came out on top with the W. Now, honestly, I think I should have scooped this game maybe a couple of turns early, just realizing, looking at the prize race, there's no way I'm going to be able to take that many prize cards that I need in this short amount of time. So if I had scooped earlier, I would have been able to win the third game no problem. However, the third game, we only had 2 minutes left to start. So I was like, all right, in order for me to win in like 2 minutes, I'm going to have to like just basically get a turn 1, turn 2 knockout twice in a row against him. And that is what I did. We actually pulled off a turn 1 knockout against I believe a Crobat V or a Moltres V. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All the stars aligned, and so we got that huge lead. And then literally, if we had 30 more seconds in this game, I would have won. But because we timed out, we had to draw. So although I had the huge massive start with the turn 1 knockout, because of the overtime rules and how it goes, I had to tie against the final opponent, which means our final record of today's tournament was 3 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. Now, my absolute biggest takeaway from this tournament and playing in a 2 out of 3 format is learning when to scoop. If you know you lost, you gotta just take the L real quick so you have more time to recoup and get that W in the final round for 2 out of 3. However, this was my very first 2 out of 3, so I wasn't very familiar with, you know, playing at a insanely fast pace, or just knowing when to scoop earlier. I didn't consider those things a factor. Huge shout out to Manta Trading for hosting this tournament. I can't wait to attend your next tournaments in the future. With that said, hit that like button down below, binge watch more tournament vlogs with the playlist link down below too, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.